Hi everyone again, welcome. We have a 30-minute Yin taster today, and Yin is a slower paced style of yoga in which poses are held for longer periods of time than the styles that we've been practicing and looking at and exploring before this video. Poses can be held from anywhere up to 5 minutes or even longer. The focus shifts away from strengthening and stretching the muscles to working with the interconnected tissues, the ligaments and even the joints of our body. And these areas are often neglected in more active forms and styles of exercise. So if you're a runner, a cyclist or someone who does any form of intense cardio, and are looking for increased flexibility and or cross training, or you're looking to de-stress, or you're injured, or you're looking to slow down in life generally, Yin Yoga may just be a great fit for you. We're going to be moving a lot slower, as I've just said. You'll be hearing my voice a lot less as we move through this practice. So get your favourite playlist in, start to anchor yourself to that breath and use that to move you through the motions. Start to tap into your thoughts and feelings, riding them like waves. Let them come in as messages and out as lessons. And we'll get started. And we're going to start in an all fours position. Taking some time here just to land on the mat. So bring your knees underneath your hips and your wrists underneath your ankles, underneath your shoulders. Make sure your fingertips are spread nice and wide, index fingers are facing forward, and just find that neutral spine. You can run through your cat-cows a little bit here if you need to find that perfect tipping point, but the spine is nice and long. Tailbone is reaching back, not reaching up or down, but reaching back. Crown of the head is reaching forwards towards the top of your mat. Neck is nice and long. Just breathing here. Taking some time to settle. Noticing what's going on for you today, noticing what's going on with that breath. Where is that breath held? Can you lengthen it? Can you add some intention to it? Can you deepen it? Can you send it to all four corners of your torso? Just a few more breaths here. And just start to bring your bum back to your heels, taking the weight out your hands. We're bringing our right foot in between our hands. Lunging through the hips, coming into that low lunge position. Make sure the toes are untucked to the back. You might want to place a blanket beneath your knee. Just be mindful of the knee to create a bit of padding for that knee. And then you just want to sink your hips here. Breathing into that psoas muscle. That muscle where a lot of our stress, our emotions, our tension is held. And this yin pose is known as dragon. It's going to be the most intense one we do today. If you've got some blocks, you could always place your hands on blocks for a bit more stability, putting them on the highest setting. If not, just palms of the hands overlapping on the knee. Tapping into that sensation, meeting that resistance head on, sending your breath there. Imagining there's air pockets in the area where you feel that resistance or that challenge. Imagine they're filling with air as you inhale, and then they relax and let go and deflate as you exhale. You might like to close down the eyes if you can maintain your balance. Just find that sense of stillness. If you feel like running away from it, it's probably exactly where you need to be. And just sink into yourself, sink into the sensation, sink into the stillness. And you'll hear my voice again in a few moments. And if it's available to you, you can start to bring the fingertips down. Just noticing how that changes the sensation. You don't want to lose the stretch in any way, so if you do feel it easing off, just come back to your knee or come back to your blocks. Alright, and your next inhalation, just bring yourself up with your fingertips are down and just shimmy your way back as gracefully as you can to an all fours position. Taking a moment here, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, noticing any differences between the left and the right hips. How do they feel? And let's bring our toes to touch, our knees nice and wide, coming into a wide child pose here. Melt your forehead down to the mat, shoulders relaxed. Once again, just tapping into sensations. Try to get that bum onto the heels. Nice long spine stretch here. Noticing any difference between the hips once again. Sending that breath into the back body, the back of the rib cage, the side of the rib cage, the areas of the lungs that we don't use that often. And one more breath in. And on your next inhalation, we're going to come back up to that all fours position. Just take a moment here to reset, making sure your alignment's right. And then we're going to take the left leg forward, the left foot between the hands. Sinking through the hips, aiming to get that right hip towards the left ankle. Bring your body up, and then once again you can place your palms to overlap on the knee. You can use your blocks, or if you've got some thick books, you can always use those. Remember to pad through that right knee if it's needed. And just sink into stillness. Find that breath, find that sensation. Use your breath as your anchor. Focus on that, bring the attention inward. Give the mind the gift of release here. And we do that by bringing the focus, the attention, the awareness to the breath and the body, the sensations in the body. Evening out through those sides. Does it feel any different on this side? Maybe start to take some self-inquiry here. Close down the eyes if that feels good to you. Fidgets are okay as well as we begin to settle. You'll find your stillness in your own time, your body's own way. And one thing people often worry about is coming to Yin Yoga classes cold, so not doing any formal warm-up before we begin these quite deep and intense stretches. But actually, we want to come to these sorts of classes cold. We want to get into those areas that are sticky with the chill and warm them up as we stretch. Again, you can bring your fingertips down if you don't use that stretch. You might feel in a different part of the body, but just make sure it's really through that psoas muscle, so that right hip flexor area. You'll hear my voice again in a few moments. And just bring your fingertips down if they're not already there. And just scoot that foot back, that left foot back into your all fours position once more. Just taking a moment here. Has the body evened out in any way? Is there still differences in the side? No judgment, just noticing. We can notice that how we react to that is up to us. And in between that noticing and reaction, there is space. Space to feel, space to think. And you choose your reaction at the end of that space. Okay, let's push back into our child's pose again. Feet together, knees nice and wide. Drape the body forwards. Once again, breathing into that back body. Maybe a nice stretch in the hips here as well, if you've got your legs nice and wide. Nice stretch to the spine. Closing down the eyes if that feels nice. Just a few more breaths here. Finding that breath. Okay, inhale. Let's roll up into our diamond position. So with the bum on the heels, the knees together, spine nice and long. Let's just take a moment placing one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Just breathing into that space. Once again, anchor yourself to that breath. Noticing any thoughts or feelings that are coming in, but taking a moment to react to them. Just riding them like waves. They come in as messages and leave as lessons. We're going to bring our hands down in front of us on the mat, coming back through to that all fours position. And turn your right fingertips towards the right knee. So your hand is facing backwards, and keep the left fingertips where they are. We're just going to start to sit the bum back towards the heels, stretching through that wrist. Take it as far as you can and as far as you need, until you feel a really nice, deep, intense stretch through that right wrist. You can lessen the intensity by bringing your weight forward, or you can increase it by bringing your bum all the way back. If the palm lifts a little, that's okay. All bodies are different. And just breathing into that space there. And this is great for anyone that spends a long time at a desk or a computer typing, or if you spend a lot of time on your phone texting, or old school writing letters or anything like that. Breathing into that space, feel the wrist opening up. And once again, you can close down the eyes if that feels good. If your fingertips are starting to go a bit white, that's okay. Stick with it. If you feel any shivers or tingles, that's also okay. And then just start to bring your weight forward, nice and slowly here. Start to release that wrist, bringing it back to neutral, so back to facing the front of the mat, the top of the mat. Just come back to that all fours position again, so find your alignment. And just once again, notice, don't react. No judgment. How are the wrists feeling? Is there any difference between the wrists now? Nice neutral spine. Breathing into all four corners of that rectangular shape of your torso. Let's just take the weight out of the wrist for a moment. Coming back into our diamond pose, bum onto the heels. And let's take our hands to our heart and to our belly. And breathing into that space. Feeling the breath come into the belly, the chest, the throat. And then climbing back down that ladder as you exhale. Throat, chest, belly. Okay, I'm going to take that to the other side. So bring yourself forward back into your all fours. Take a moment there if you need. Breathing into the sides of the body, the front of the body, the back of the body. Filling yourself with good air, good energy. And then just start to turn your left fingertips back towards your knees. And find the intensity that suits you. Taking your tailbone and your bum back towards your heels. As far as you can, as far as you need. Lessen the intensity by coming forward. Breathing into that space. Once again, there might be differences on sides here. Be prepared to take the stretches differently on either side. Closing your eyes if that feels good. Bringing the attention, awareness away from the room around you, away from the atmosphere, the space, and bringing it entirely inward to sensation, to thoughts, to feelings. Noticing any resistances, any blind spots, any challenges, and not running away from them, leaning into them. Nothing to fear, all to be felt. You might start to feel some pins and needles in those fingers, totally okay as well. Just a few more breaths here. Okay, let's start to take the weight out of that wrist. Slow as you can go, just move it back to neutral so that your fingers are facing the front and the top of the mat. Taking a moment in your all fours position, noticing if anything's changed, and then just come back to your diamond pose. And let's take our hands onto our body again, heart and belly. Breathing here. and letting go of any expectation, any pressure, any force, any control. Let this moment be luxurious, let it be indulgent, it's for you. And then just shift your hips over to whichever side is calling to you. Bring your legs out in front of you, and we're making our way onto our back. So just make your way there, however suits you and your body best. I like to place the soles of my feet on the ground and really curl through the spine to get a bit of core work. Rolling down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, sucking that navel into the spine, drawing it in. As I roll the lower, the middle, the upper back, the shoulders, the head down. And then just bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. And we're going to hold this for about a minute. So just find some movement that feels nice, whether it's rocking side to side, whether it's bringing your forehead into your knees. I like to keep the back of my head on the floor, but just really squeeze those knees in. Pushing the lower back into the floor, into the mat, so you can really feel the stretch through the lower spine, the lower back. Really well-deserved squeeze. You can interlock your fingers, interlace your fingers here. If you want to take some movement, please feel free, but keep it minimal. We're slowing things right down. Alright, and nothing is going to change with your position here, so keep your knees nice and squeezed into your chest. All you're going to do is release that left arm to the floor, a capital T shape, and knock the knees over to the right, coming into our supine twist. Knees are stacked, or you can wrap your top leg on top of your bottom, coming into eagle legs. But just make sure you can feel that lovely, delicious, juicy stretch and twist of the spine. Keep that left shoulder anchored into the floor, and you can use this right hand to gently guide your knees over to where you want them to be, to feel that stretch. Palm of the left hand facing up. I'm just looking at the time. Closing down the eyes if that feels good. And you'll hear my voice again in a few moments' time. Let's inhale our legs slow as you can, slow as you like, back into centre. Let's give ourselves that big squeeze again. Once again, noticing any differences inside. Now we've stretched one side of the spine, one side of the body. Does it feel any difference? Can you notice any change? You might want to rock from side to side here, massaging out through that lower spine. You might want to take some knee circles here. Just keep it slow, keep it mindful, keep it intentional. Make sure you take them both ways if you are taking those knee circles, just to even out and balance the muscles of the body, the joints of the body, all of that interconnected tissue we spoke about at the beginning, the ligaments, the tendons. And then when you're ready, just find that stillness again before we take it to the other side, knocking our knees over to the left. Our right arm comes out in that capital T shape, palm shape, peanut shape, facing up, excuse me. Right shoulder rooted, anchored into that mat. Gaze looking over that right hand and close down the eyes here. Using that left hand to just gently encourage the knees over a bit further. Don't force it, just use the natural weight, the natural gravity of your hand and knees to draw them into the earth. Breathing into that twist. Twisting deeper on the exhalations if you can, but once again, no force, no control. Find your point of resistance and then stay on the right side of it. And once again, you'll hear my voice in a few moments' time, so just sink into this feeling, sink into the sensation. Quieten down the mind if you can. Anchor yourself to that breath. Okay, just start to bring your knees back into centre. Once again, giving yourself that big squeeze. Taking just a couple of breaths, a couple of moments here to notice how you're feeling now. Before you're releasing your legs long, let them melt down to the mat, coming into our final pose here, Shavasana. Legs are relaxed, Arms away from the body, down by your sides, palms facing up. And I encourage you to take as long as you need here. Pause the video and just melt into this position, scanning through the body. Bring that focus and attention inward, anchoring yourself to that breath. And when you're ready to come out of it, we're going to roll, bring our knees into our chest first of all, and then we're going to roll onto whichever side is calling to us. Coming into a fetal position, a nice little ball on our sides, held in safety by the earth. Taking a moment here before we push ourselves up to meet in a comfortable seated position. Eyes remain gently closed, hands resting gently in the lap, spine nice and long. A few breaths here to close. And then bring your hands to heart center, thumbs resting against the chest. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you.